Hello, and welcome to season number 1, race 19 of my Acura Team Penske career mode here on F1 2021. And we have some interesting developments here in qualifying for the Mexican Grand Prix. Obviously, as you can see, the Mercedes are on the front row, Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas. But the big story is the Red Bulls. Max Verstappen, who of course had an engine blowout at Circuit of the Americas in Austin in the U.S. Grand Prix, lost the championship lead back to his teammate Sergio Perez, who qualified P7 behind me. Now also we got Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris in there, so that creates a very interesting scenario, barring any grid penalties going into the race, because Perez is 13 ahead of Verstappen and 19 ahead of Bottas, and Hamilton is 60 points back. Not on the verge of elimination yet, but Hamilton's going to need to start scoring more points to keep himself in the fight. Not mathematically eliminated, but he would need to pull off a string of victories, really, to pull this off. Yeah, that's how things are looking up front. Our teammate Christian Lundgaard outqualified both Williams cars, which is good to see. And yeah, again, we'll see how everything works out with the potential grid penalties that we could see. Of course, losing the rivalry to Lewis Hamilton, which is not really a surprise.
Right, I think we can call that a successful qualifying. We should be in with a good chance in the race.
Alright, let's take a look at things here. Weather going to be interesting. Looks like rain towards the end of the race, which could play into the strategy a little bit. Will all depend on when the rain comes, of course. In terms of upgrades, we do need to get one that failed last time from the aerodynamic side. That will cost us 337 points, and we'll be in for the Australian Grand Prix. And meanwhile, we are going to need to adapt some more parts here. I'll go with that one on the reliability side. I guess I'll go with this one because it's 325, and that's how many resource points we have. So, and we'll adapt that. We are now at 0 resource points. So, keeping track, we need to adapt 6 more parts on the chassis side, and on the durability side, we need to adapt 3 parts. So 9 parts to adapt over the next, after this weekend, 4 race weekends. So yeah, looking pretty solid. Go to the R&D, and even with our issues with some of our upgrades, we have moved up a little bit. We are now sort of basically on level pegging with Alfa Romeo and LP again, which is good. Mercedes pulling a little bit away from Red Bull, which again, timing is interesting in terms of the championship. So we shall see what happens in the Mexican Grand Prix.
Welcome along to the most popular city in North America and home now to the Mexico City Grand Prix. It's a sellout crowd as usual here at one of the shortest circuits on the Formula One calendar. So who, I wonder, will the crowd cheer on today to the top step of the podium? We're a long way above sea level here in Mexico today, which could pose some cooling issues for the cars as they make their way around this 2.6 mile lap. 17 corners with top speeds in excess of 220 miles per hour, and watch out for potential overtaking into turns 1 and 4. It's just about time to go to the track for the beginning of the race, but before we do, Anthony Davidson, what types of strategy do you think we can expect for today's event?
Well, there's a lot that both the driver and the team have to keep in mind when going into a race. The tyres, fuel, energy recovery systems, the list goes on and on. But I think the key to today's victory will come down to the pit stop strategy. Come in too soon and you might find yourself needing more than one stop. Too late and you're putting yourself at a disadvantage by spending longer on worn tyres.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid we have Norris, the Golden Boy, Sergio Perez and Ricciardo, Bottas, Leclerc, Raikkonen and Lance Stroll, Fernando Alonso, they've taken a grid penalty, Ocon, Yuki Tsunoda and Lundgaard. Sainz, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Mazepin, Sebastian Vettel, they've taken a grid penalty, and Antonio Giovinazzi, Mick Schumacher, Russell, Latifi and Pierre Gasly picks up the final grid slot today. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Alright, so as you saw, we had a number of grid penalties that took place. And we've been elevated to P4, I believe. And so the front row is Hamilton and Max Verstappen, which makes things very interesting. Go to the race director, Lewis Hamilton, pole position, keeps it. So Perez is still behind me, but Bottas is behind him. But Bottas dropped behind him due to some grid penalties. But Bottas, of course, has theoretically the better car right now. So trying to see if he can get around Perez. You got Raikkonen and Stroll starting in the top 10. Esteban Ocon gained a lot of spots to the grid penalties. You got Carlos Sainz back in 15th. Pierre Gasly starting shotgun on the grid. A lot of interesting things going on. So, yeah, should be an interesting race. And of course, you got the weather. That's going to play into a lot of it, too. Yeah, I think my thoughts on the strategy. Yeah, it's kind of hard, interesting to say. I feel like the best, again, it'll depend on when the rain comes. I feel like the best move is to probably throw on softs just continuously. Because once the rain comes, tire choice doesn't matter. It's all, it's all out the window effectively. So I think the best strategy is to um, I think the best strategy is just to put on soft tires and to just keep. I don't know how many sets of soft tires I have. At least a second. I don't know if we have a third. But again, I feel like the best course of action would be to just, do soft tires until the rain comes, and at that point, switch onto the rain tires and go off. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. I think everyone in the field pretty much is starting on the soft tire.
Okay, how was the pull away? You'll have a bit more grip than that on the start, but we need to warm the tyres properly now. Make sure you get some heat into the brakes as well.
So, and of course, run down to turn 1 here in Mexico, I think might be the longest on the calendar. It's a lot of opportunity for slipstreaming.
No threat of rain for the time being.
Wide
Conditions
action.
looking good.
A very tight sequence of corners. Of course, Verstappen, this is definitely an opportunity for him to retake the championship lead. Where Perez is starting, and Hamilton, of course, trying to stay alive in his quest to catch up. I mean, certainly still possible, again, for him to win the championship, but he really needs to reel off a bunch of really strong results ahead of the Red Bulls. He needs just to maximize everything to the end of the season, and it's going to be hard with how many races that are left for him to really do that effectively. They're getting ready to go for the Mexican Grand Prix.
The rest of the grid is forming up. Be patient and watch for the lights.
Alright, here we go. 5 red lights coming up for the Mexican Grand Prix. And we're underway. Oh, look at Ricciardo making moves already. Lando Norris trying to make a move. Sergio Perez. Oh, it's going to be tight. Perez trying to shoot up the middle. We're going to... Ooh, it's going to be tight. Totally forgot to mention that this is Sergio Perez's home Grand Prix. So him getting that start was just, incredible. Let's look at Perez, so you can find him. Here he is. Look at him just shoot up the middle between Hamilton and Verstappen. And we're going to probably go back from right here, just so I can get a better run to this complex here. Ooh. Come on, Hamilton. Hamilton, park in the bus. So despite the speed advantage from Hamilton, the Red Bulls take the lead. They go around Max Verstappen. We're going to move into P2. Here in the opening lap. And man, it's incredible. I was talking about how Sergio Perez is not in a advantageous position with where he was starting. You know, P5. You know, Hamilton and Verstappen ahead of him, but he got a great start. Used the slipstream. And I completely neglected to mention that this is his home Grand Prix, so you can imagine if he wins this race, it's going to be incredible. Well, long way to go yet. A lot can still happen. And found ourselves in the mix with top guns here in Formula One. Battle here shortly with Verstappen and Hamilton for sure. As we try our best to keep up with Sergio Perez. Gonna be quite the challenge, although we set a purple sector 1. First sector, the first part of the second sector, we're pretty strong. Could have taken that corner a little bit better. We're a little too wide. Yeah, right in that penultimate corner, or coming out of the stadium.
This lap.
Is really where we lose a lot of speed,
and in the DRS zone.
Especially to the car in front of us, and the car behind us, of course. Verstappen looking for the position, he's not going to get it. We're still side by side. Going to make it difficult on him, as I have the right to do. Difficult within the limits of the rules, I guess you could say. As Verstappen going for the move again, he's going to get me. We're going to switch. I was going to say switchback. We went in that corner way too fast. You can't pull in front of me like that, Max.
A new strategy is available on the MFD. No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving. Okay, our main competitors in this race are Perez and Verstappen. No rain expected, no rain expected for the time being. Dries seem like the best tyre for now. Gap to teammate behind is 10.1 seconds.
That really. Verstappen gets by for the moment. That's a nice little move. Liquid on Max
Nice move. Good job.
to keep second place. Hamilton now under attack from Lando Norris, and Norris is actually going to get by Lewis Hamilton for P4. So Hamilton's had a disastrous start to this race from his standpoint. And again, it should be, emphasized that technically speaking, Mercedes has the better car right now than Red Bull. Yet they are managing to bungle this, really. Bottas, I think there's an Alpine ahead of Bottas as well. Let's take a look at the race structure. He's behind Fernando Alonso. So Bottas off to a horrid start. I know he had the grip penalty, but still not where you want to be. Here comes Verstappen again. Do our best to defend, though he might have us this time. We'll see. Oh. Had the right idea, but just didn't execute it very well. And there's another example of that. Gave him too much of a nudge there. Trying to get around his outside and then switch around. It had that almost pulled off. Around the outside, turn to the inside, then I'm going to go back to the outside, but cut it a little too close to his car. That's better. And here comes Hamilton with a rate of speed. Easily get by both of us, potentially. Ooh, didn't want to do that to Verstappen. So Hamilton comes back and gets by us. Oh, now Verstappen is going side by side with Ricciardo for P4. So now all of a sudden Verstappen's the one on the back foot, as the Mercedes of Hamilton snuck by us to get into P2. Can he gain the ground that he's lost to Sergio Perez? Hamilton sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix right there.
Conditions look stable at the moment. No rain currently expected. Dries seem like the fastest tyre at the moment. Ricciardo closing in.
Ooh, he actually tried to make a move on the outside. Not gonna happen though. We cover it pretty well. Trying to make a move on us to the outside. Not gonna happen.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the mediums. We're leading our teammate by 9.1 seconds.
Do our mid-session save. Here comes Ricardo. Did he just like drive into the back of us?
Okay, focus. We need to stay on form.
And we're gonna get right back by Ricardo, as he's gonna go side by side with Max Verstappen. Oh, and Verstappen makes a little bit of contact. Unable to complete the
The gap
pass.
to the car ahead is 2.8 seconds.
By the way, pit window says about lap 10 to 12, but we're not that far away from that point. Uh-oh, somebody's had a problem. Lando Norris. Or was it Ricardo? I don't know. Let's take a look. This is Ricardo. No. Oh, it's Lando Norris. Ooh. Lando Norris went for a spin and nearly came back right in front of traffic going into the stadium section. It touched the wall a little bit. This is on board Fernando Alonso. Look back from Leclerc. Just loses it all on his own. Valtteri Bottas. Somebody he nearly hit. Was it Tsunoda? Oh yeah, it was Yuki Tsunoda. Just barely avoids Lando Norris. It's that close.
Gap to car in front is 2.9 seconds.
I'm actually curious to see what happens to Lando here. I guess he just has to wait for everyone else to go by him. So he backs it up, and then he just has to sit there, allow everyone... Oh my gosh, is that my teammate, Christian Lundgaard? Nearly coming together with him? Oh my god, that's even closer than... Yuki Tsunoda came. That's incredible. Just barely manages to avoid making contact. Same for Carlos Sainz, my goodness. Everyone else is able to steer real clear. Uh-oh. Who's that? That's, George Russell is going to avoid him. As he's just trying to get going, but he's sitting in the middle of the track. Alright, let's go back and see. Russell avoids him, so it's Tiffy, Schumacher, and I guess Norris finally gets going. He's going to be dead last. Not what you want to see if you're a McLaren.
No need to worry about tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good. Okay, gap ahead is 3.1 seconds. Pit window open. Let's box this lap. Expect to see some rain about 10 to 15 minutes from now. Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
Yeah, so with that in mind, I think the best idea is probably to switch on to, like I said earlier, normally in this spot I would go with the mediums and then end on the softs, but the rain coming is probably better to just go with the soft and just run as hard as you can to the rain. Curious to see when everyone else starts to pit. Perez and Hamilton stay out for now. Verstappen and a couple of guys behind me, Ricciardo and Leclerc, also come in. It is within the pit window, so I suspect, I'm guessing Perez will stop this lap, this coming lap, and then Hamilton or Bottas will go another lap further, because Bottas also stayed on track. So check and see who went with what in the pits. So soft for Leclerc, no surprise there. Verstappen went with softs, Ricardo went with softs. So basically, as I suspected, and actually they were the only three to come down into the pits. That's kind of surprising that nobody else followed them in, though they are going to come out into a little bit of a hole. They might have George Russell to contend with, but they'll have a couple seconds to the next car. Certainly.
We think we may see some rain. ETA is about 15 minutes. Our gap to the car in front is 4.2 seconds.
Hamilton really closing the gap to Sergio Perez. And there you go, both Hamilton and Perez come in. We will go one more lap.
Christian is coming in for his stop.
So it should be interesting to see where Hamilton and Perez come out in relation to Verstappen. There's Perez coming out, there's Hamilton. There is Fernando, or some of the other cars. There's Giovinazzi, I believe, who have yet to stop, and Perez is right in the middle of that traffic, so that could give Hamilton a shot to catch back up to him. But Verstappen not that far behind, so I think he definitely used that extra lap on the softs to his advantage. So, yeah, that's interesting there. Good news is that we should have a clean in and out for our pit stop.
We can't take you right now. Pit in next lap.
Oh, well, I'm coming in this lap, so you got to move there, Lungard. Actually, we'll go back and take a look at the battle behind us as Perez and Hamilton try to work their way through this traffic. Not lap down cars, of course, so they have the right to defend themselves on track. Just faster cars on faster tires versus slower cars on slower tires. Creates quite the conundrum for those people trying to get through the field.
Right, come in at the end of this lap. We don't have the data for that, I'm afraid. Roger that. Soft tires at the next pit stop.
Alright. Good time for another mid-session save. So we'll come into the pits and put on a fresh set of soft tires. I presume others will be following suit behind, as Tsunoda and Bottas dive into the pits as well.
Exit now.
Oh, there goes Hamilton.
Okay, stay clear.
Battling with Perez for the race lead. Here comes Ricardo.
If you cross over into the track.
We're going to just get in front of him. Block him off. As we take a look in front of us, Hamilton had DRS, and he was really going at it with Sergio Perez for the race lead. It looks like Perez might get the better of him. We'll see coming through the first complex of corners here. And Verstappen is now in the fight. He's looking to make a pass on Hamilton for position. Two Red Bulls trying to double team the Mercedes. Verstappen and Hamilton are side by side. I think Verstappen is going to take the spot. Hamilton on a lap pressure tires, but his tires have not warmed up yet. So Verstappen, his one lap pressure tires warmed up to temperature, uses them to his advantage and sneaks on by the 7-time world champion. Of course, I think Hamilton will... I don't know if Verstappen is close enough to Perez to get DRS, but surely Hamilton is much closer to Verstappen than Verstappen is to Perez. Meanwhile, we have our own business to worry about, as Daniel Ricciardo will certainly have DRS on us. And will certainly close the gap as Hamilton and Verstappen go side by side. And it looks like Lewis Hamilton will easily take back P2 from the Dutchman. Really, if we can pull up to Max Verstappen or hope that Verstappen and Hamilton keep battling, this will become a, potentially a 5-way fight for the race lead. I think that traffic that Perez and Hamilton were stuck in for that lap really allowed for things to close up between the front 5 here. Like we will get DRS, so we can at least keep in touch with Max Verstappen, at least for the moment. Anyway, Lewis Hamilton sets the fastest lap to Grand Prix. Now that goes to Valtteri Bottas in the other Mercedes. And if it stays this close all the way until the rains come, this is going to be a real mad scramble in the pits. Especially for Red Bull, they'll be in quite the conundrum with Verstappen and Perez. You can see a situation where either both pit, one suffers the double stack penalty of waiting for the other car to do their stop, or they'll be forced to stay out an extra lap in the wet, and they'll lose a heap of time to their competitors. But meanwhile, we have officially entered this fight. We are right behind Max Verstappen. 3 Hondas. Of course, we are a Honda-powered car versus the 1 Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton. But we have really dropped into Ricciardo.
Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes' time. Rain in 10 minutes. Dries seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
Pit window on these tires, if it were to stay dry, has us coming in at lap 23.25. So hopefully the rain comes before that. Or even just coincides with that.
We're expecting rain in around 10 to 15 minutes.
You can definitely tell it's gotten cloudier in this middle portion of the race. So weather is moving into the area for sure. It's just a matter of when it's going to hit. Could be looking to make a move here. Max Verstappen down the long front straightaway. Of course, Perez now leading a bit of a DRS train.
Gap to teammate behind is 20.7 seconds.
Yeah, we've really dumped Daniel Ricciardo. It was looking like a 5-way fight for the lead potentially. Now it's only 4 as Hamilton has a big moment trying to pass Sergio Perez. This is going to bunch up everyone here. Close to Verstappen. A little too close right there. Right there is where we're going to pause. I'm just going to take a second to plug in something that needs to be charged. We just gotta make sure that you are fully charged. And I've got a phone here that I have to plug in. If the plug will work. There we go. Alright, that's good. It's good and charging. So we can resume the action. See if Hamilton can attack Perez again. He's closing. I'm not sure if he'll be close enough to make a move, though. I'll stick it behind Perez for another lap. Hamilton trying to make a move on Perez. They're side by side. Hamilton tried to make the move. It looks like it did not succeed. He's going to try again going into turn 4. Once again, Hamilton very close, but not quite able to successfully pull off the move he needs to take the lead. Of the Mexican Grand Prix.
The rain is a few laps out yet, but it is coming. Be careful. Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
Verstappen's tires could be starting to wear off a little bit.
We don't think we're far away from some rain. I'll keep you updated as the conditions change.
Meanwhile, Ricardo continues to drop like a stone. Not only is he falling off of us, but now he's been passed by Leclerc.
Approaching the pit window, you'll be on the mediums.
And Valtteri Bottas. And speaking of Mercedes, Lewis Hamilton, here he comes, looking for the race lead on the hometown hero, for the home countryman, I should say, Sergio Perez and Hamilton. He successfully jumps Perez to take the race lead of the Mexican Grand Prix. Using that slipstream, using the DRS, gets by Perez before he even gets to turn 1. Now Verstappen's in his own fight as well, because again, you know, Hamilton has much longer ways to go to even get back in the title fight, but Verstappen's in it. He's the closest contender to Sergio Perez, so he's not going to go easy on him here. Given the opportunity, he will pass him. I think we have had some people who've already hit it. That's interesting. The rain is coming. I don't know why you would pit. Leclerc and who is that? And Ricardo. I'm not too sure about that. I don't know why you would pit the rain this close. You know what, the best idea is just to stretch out your tires until the rain comes. Uh-oh, Kimi Räikkönen out of the race. Wonder what happened to Kimi. Must have been an engine failure. Yep, there it is. Such a shame, because Kimi, you know, with the grid penalties, just elevated to a top 10 starting spot. Seemed to be doing pretty well. But, you know, pulls off. And Räikkönen hit the wall a little bit too, but he's done for the day. In that Alfa Romeo. Yeah, Verstappen coming into the pits. I mean, for them, you know, it is in their window, but again, it's just sort of like, you know, this is where I think the AI sort of, you know, falters a little bit.
We're leading our teammate by 27.4 seconds.
We know the rain is coming, and if this were real life,
Caution.
if this were real life, you would try to stretch this out.
Be aware, there's an incident in the next part of the track. No overtaking through the yellow flags. The gap to the car ahead is 1.6 seconds.
A lot from Jeff there, but in real life, if you knew the rain was coming, you would stretch out these tires as long as you can. And if you look at my tire wear, I mean, they're nowhere near falling off the cliff. I can go another 5 or 6 laps probably, realistically. Just waiting for that rain to come.
No issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them. We're going to box this lap. Push hard on the in-lap. Dries seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
That's really the question I was asking, Jeff.
Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
I'm not asking about the tire condition, I'm asking about the weather, Jeff. There's a difference.
Christian is in the pits. Christian in the pits.
Oh, there it is. Saw the rain start to spit right there. Probably another lap, and then we'll be on to intermediate tires. So we might have just hit the jackpot here.
Confirming that we'll be fitting the intermediate tyres.
I guess the next question will be, when will it be heavy enough to switch on the intermediates? Closing in on one of the Haas cars.
Okay, be careful on those slicks. These conditions are making the line a bit greasy, but we're still nowhere near the changeover point.
Keats and Mazepin we're closing in on.
Let's be mindful of the conditions. The track is getting wetter. Recommend you stay out for now though. We'll be much slower if we move on to inters this early. We'll be seeing at least 20 minutes of light rain. Dries seem like the fastest tyre at the moment. I think we're still on the right tyres for the time being. We're still happy that we're on the right tyres at the moment. Okay, be careful on those slicks. These conditions are making the line a bit greasy, but we're still nowhere near the changeover point. Let's be mindful of the conditions. The track is getting wetter. Recommend you stay out for now though. We'll be much slower if we move on to inters this early. Okay, even though we're seeing cars struggle in these conditions, if we pit for inters now, we're going to be too slow and we'll burn them out. Make the best of it for the time being. It's not a perfect situation, but I don't think we have cause to move on to a different tyre yet.
Well, we've got the rain, but it's not wet enough, apparently, to warrant changeover to intermediate tires. And the DRS is still active, so as long as that's active, you know, it's a sign that it's not quite time for the wet weather tires. So we're sort of just left here sitting and waiting, really, until the time comes that the alert goes up that the DRS is disabled, and that's usually the universal sign that, hey, come into the pits, it's time for wet weather tires.
The tyre situation is an interesting one, but I think the right call is to stick with what we've got right now.
I mean, we are punching well above our weight as it is, but this is definitely a little concerning. It's been raining for a couple laps, and we still have no news on a possible wet weather tire change.
This rain could be with us for a while. Light rain conditions for the foreseeable future. Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
And here's the thing, the rain's not going away. It's sticking around for the rest of the race.
There's static over the radio. Say again. I know these conditions are tough, but bear with it. I don't think the track is ready for intermediates yet.
If it keeps going at this rate, I might just have to pit. I think I can maybe do 2 more laps on these tires. Because if the problem is that if there is no changeover to intermediates, then I have to come in anyway and change over to a different set of tires that isn't the soft tire because of the regulations. So just holding out hope. The call will go out for the intermediates.
Okay, even though we're seeing cars struggle in these conditions, if we pit for inters now, we're going to be too slow and we'll burn them out. Make the best of it for the time being.
Yeah, you can see there's no rooster tails coming off the car. So this is really not working out in my favor.
Be careful. The tyres have deteriorated significantly at this point.
I could probably do one more lap after this one. And after that, I'm going to have to come into the pits.
Our gap behind is 12.2 seconds. it's not a perfect situation, but I don't think we have cause to move on to a different tyre yet.
Go one more lap.
Affirmative. Medium tyres at the next stop.
Meanwhile, oh no, Sergio Perez! What happened to Perez? He's out of the race! Sergio Perez going slow. The native hero, running so well, had a great start to the race, was leading, battling for the lead, came into this race with the points lead, and now, second week in a row, a Red Bull engine has failed. This time it's Sergio Perez in the Red Bull. That's going to drastically shake up the championship, that's for sure. And this championship's had so many different twists and turns. Isn't that we're just trying
Check
to...
your MFD for a new strategy option.
Okay, yeah, that's just confirming.
Copy that. Okay, I think it might be just about time to come and change these tyres. We're no longer sure that these tyres are the right ones. It might be time to come in and change. Yellow flag. Someone's come off ahead of you. There's a yellow flag ahead. Okay, we can take you this lap. Affirmative. Medium tyres at the next stop. Okay, I think it might be just about time to come and change these tyres.
Alright, so we're forced to come into the pits. Our gamble did not work out. It's been raining. We've been waiting for the call for the wet weather tires, but it just hasn't happened.
Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
It's wet, but it's not wet enough. Yeah, I think the key detail is that there are no rooster tails on the back of this car. As you can clearly see, you know, there's no spray.
We're no longer sure that these tyres are the right ones. It might be time to come in and change. Alright, we're getting very close to the crossover point now. Stay out if you have the pace, but as soon as you hit the limit, come and put the inters on.
Oh, really? Huh. Ain't that something?
This light rain is going to be with us for a while now.
Now the rooster tails are starting to come up on the car, at least a little bit.
We have 5 laps of fuel remaining.
Kind of hard as hell. Could just be the raindrops in the... Oh yeah, you can see in the corners. Really looking like a boat now. And we're just losing time to Valtteri Bottas.
50.2 seconds.
And now it's becoming incredibly hard to brake.
Sorry, we can't provide you with that information right now. The gap to the car behind is 16.3 seconds.
Yep, I think the changeover point is now. There it is. A couple laps too late.
Christian is in the pits. Christian in the pits. Okay, we'll fit Inters on your next stop.
Oh, Hamilton stays out on track. Huh. Is my teammate really the only one who pitted for... Yeah, that's very strange.
Understood, stopping this lap. Okay, fitting intermediate tyres next.
I mean, why not? I mean, even if we come out behind that pack of cars, we're going to be so much faster on these tires.
Go, go, go.
So we're really not going to lose anything. So you can get by these guys pretty easily. They're so much faster than them.
There's 4 laps of fuel remaining.
Obviously, this isn't a race-winning move, but yeah, I think this is just honestly out of spite, just to say, you know, I knew it was right to change onto the intermediates. It was just, you know, the rain didn't get heavy enough at the right time. At this stage of the game, it's, you know, the AI will not pit typically this late in the race unless there's damage on the car. So, again, we were losing ground to Bottas anyway. Even though we're gaining a lot of time on him right now. And even though I knew we were going to lose a couple spots to those cars behind us, we were going to pass them right back with these tires. So, more just for safety reasons, and again, just to show, hey, I knew this was the right tire to go on. And this race is 2 or 3 laps longer. Everyone else would be on intermediates too. Yeah. So as it stands, Lewis Hamilton will win the Mexican Grand Prix, again, as things stand. Max Verstappen will come home second. And I believe Sergio Perez came into this race leading by 13 points, which would mean that Verstappen would take a 5-point lead in the championship. And, you know, Bottas will also close the gap. And Hamilton will as well.
Gap to car in front is 13.1 seconds.
So definitely a race that will, again, help Lewis Hamilton's cause, but I don't know if it's just, again, too little too late in terms of the championship for him to get really back in it. Because again, for him to really win this championship,
This is your final lap of the race.
from where he is in the standings, he needs to win out and hope everyone else that he's fighting, like Sergio Perez, has problems or doesn't finish second or third. I don't know how realistic that's going to be. So, you know, late charge for Lewis. I don't think it'll amount to anything significant.
We're leading our teammate by 50.9 seconds.
Hey, you never know. At least it puts Hamilton, or at least it keeps Hamilton in the conversation. And to show you how much time you've gained on these tires, you've been on them for like 2 or 3 laps, and we were, I think, with like 21 seconds behind Bottas.
We have 2 laps of fuel remaining.
We were about 20 seconds or so behind Bottas after he came out of the pits. Now we're about under 7 and gaining still. So, won't catch Bottas with the podium, but maybe if we had another lap. I mean, he's right ahead of us, we would have him, but it's not close enough. Lewis Hamilton wins. Max Verstappen will get second. Bottas will get third. It's a Hamburg podium. And the championship standings can shake it up once again.
Behind us is 19.0.
So we come home for P4.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
Solidifying our 5th place position in the point standings.
That's it for another Grand Prix and a fantastic win for Mercedes. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
So I believe this is Hamilton's 4th win of the season. It's his 2nd win in a row. So again, the performance boost that Mercedes has really
Let's have a quick
helping
look at
them
how
out.
the driver standings have changed. Max Verstappen now leads the Drivers' Championship. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
Well, you put me in a bit of a tight spot today, but I think I'll go for Pierre Gasly. He kept a cool head under pressure and made the most of some difficult circumstances.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. The lead at the top comes down after a strong weekend from the challenging pack. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.
Alright, and that was the Mexican Grand Prix. I'll take a look at the constructors. Actually, should have mentioned this as well, but it is closing up between Mercedes and Red Bull for the lead, now that Mercedes has the performance edge. Ferrari and McLaren are pretty close for 3rd, only about 21 points separates them. But our 5th place spot in the constructors is not secure because AlphaTauri continues to score points, and with Lundgaard not really up to par at the moment, it's 2 versus 1, and so AlphaTauri has the opportunity to score has 2 chances to score points, whereas I only have 1. So things working out right now. Driver standings. It is closed up once again. Max Verstappen leads, but only 5 points separate him and Sergio Perez. Valtteri Bottas in his Mercedes, only 8 points back. And Lewis Hamilton, again, with that win, still remains alive. 40 points out, still has a long ways to go. But he is putting forth some very impressive performances in this late stretch of the season to stay in the hunt. So I have to give applause to him on his efforts. Yeah, I'm genuinely intrigued to see how the season's going to finish.
fans really seem to enjoy that. You made it look easy. It's looking like the championship is already won. Do you think there's still time for this to change? We all underestimated you, didn't we? Do you have any comments about this team? You had a bit of a rivalry going on, but it looks like they bested you. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, nothing really positive to say about the rivalry, so no comment. He beat me, as is expected. My claim does go down a little bit. Still closing in on that third, or I guess fourth sponsor, third secondary sponsor. $3.52 million. And I believe this will be another short week before the next race in Brazil. So of course we have Brazil, Australia, Saudi Arabia, and then Abu Dhabi. To renew distort, we will do that. One, two, three different slots for the distort sponsorship.
Okay, we've had the new parts come through the fabrication process. We'll have them with us for the next Grand Prix.
And again, these upgrades won't be coming in until the race in Australia, and the race in Australia is November the 19th. So those upgrades are listed for definitely all before that race weekend. So hopefully we'll have a nice little pace boost going into Australia. And yeah, let's take a quick look at the season results. And I completely forgot that Carlos Sainz won a race this year. He won that thriller in France. Yeah, aside from him, and aside from me, it's been all Mercedes and Red Bull. Of course, Sergio Perez, really, you know, his spot in the standings was really solidified with that strong start to the year. He's only got 2 wins to his name, but and should also be noted that finish in Mexico, that was Sergio Perez's first DNF of the season. And I think in comparison, when you look at, you know, Max Verstappen, you see why he's why he's ahead, because Verstappen has 3 DNFs, and a race in Bahrain where he finished outside the points, but he did not win the race. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty impressive. It says a lot about, I guess, Verstappen's, some of his results, or the pace that he's had. That he is, that he and Perez are within 5 points of each other. Yet Verstappen has 3 DNFs, a 4th finish outside of the points, and 1 race where he finished 9th, versus Sergio Perez, who before Mexico, his worst finish of the season is 7th. He had, never scored outside the points until Mexico, and again, worst finish, 7th in Belgium, and that was really it. So yeah, I honestly, I truly, and then for Bottas, he also only has 2 wins. So funny how the 2 secondary drivers who are in the championship, only 2 wins to their name apiece, but their results have really spoken for themselves. And Bottas, I have to give credit to him. He's had, he had that one crash in Singapore, which, technically doesn't list him as a DNF, but he did not finish the race because it was late in the going. But he has not had a proper DNF all season, whereas his teammate Lewis Hamilton has had 3. Now, of course, the difference between the teammates is that Hamilton and Verstappen have more wins. Hamilton actually has 5 wins. Great Britain, Belgium, Singapore, Japan, or Singapore, USA, Mexico. So, Hamilton's won 3 of the last 4. So, he's the hottest driver on the circuit right now as it stands. But again, you have to wonder, is it, too little too late for Lewis? 40 points is still a lot of ground to make up. But that was the not the US Grand Prix, that was the Mexican Grand Prix. Corrected myself, and I'll see you next time for the Brazilian Grand Prix.